Rounding the turn and into the stretch, it's Heaven Hill, Wild Turkey and Old Granddad charging hard on the inside. Looks like Wild Turkey's gonna finish strong, overtaking Heaven Hill, but here comes Old Granddad. It's Old Granddad by the nose, followed by Wild Turkey and Heaven Hill. It's a beautiful night for bourbon. Yep, it's always a beautiful night for bourbon. And tonight, we're going to do something special. Once again, I'm going to do something just a little bit different. Tonight, I'm going to make a mint julep. But before I make that mint julep, I am going to make some creme de menthe. Now, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say that, you can't put, a creme de menthe into a mint julep. That's just not right. Well, I'm going to do it, but I am going to make the creme de menthe using fresh mint leaves. But then I will also make the mint julep by muddling some mint leaves in the julep glass. So it's actually going to be very minty. And to start things off, what I want to do is to pour a half a cup of water into my saucepan and get it on the heat, get it going. And then I'm going to take 2 cups of allulose and put that in there and get it stirred around and let it start heating up so that the allulose will dissolve. What I want to do is to bring it to a boil. Allulose, for those of you who might not be familiar, is a 0-calorie sugar. It's not a sugar substitute. It's actually a sugar. It exists in nature, although it can be manufactured. And it is 0 calories and 0 carbs, so it's perfect for the keto diet. Now, if you don't want to use allulose, if you're not on the keto diet, use table sugar. Perfectly good, perfectly acceptable substitute. I would probably even use honey to give this thing just a little bit different flavor and a little more of a kick. But being where I'm at with my diet, I'm using allulose. So 2 cups of allulose going into the saucepan. Next, what I'm going to do is to tear some mint leaves from their stems. I have here a bunch of fresh mint that I just purchased in the store. I'll be taking about half of this. This is approximately 75 grams of mint, so I'm going to take approximately half of this. And then I'm going to separate the leaves from the stems. The stems can be bitter, and we don't want that in our mint julep. Nobody likes a bitter mint julep. Okay, well, now that our sugar syrup, what we would call a rich simple syrup, it's a 2-to-1 mixture. And yes, I know, 2 cups to a half cup, that's 4-to-1. Don't get upset yet, because we are going to add a little more liquid in. And what we're going to add in is this. I'm adding in the Evan Williams Bottled In Bond. Yeah, usually if you make a creme de menthe, you're going to add vodka. Well, I'm using this for a mint julep. A mint julep uses bourbon. So I'm going to use bourbon to make my creme de menthe. And I'm going to add in a half a cup. So this creme de menthe liqueur is going to contain 1 cup of liquid and 2 cups of sugar. The liquid will be half bottled in bond bourbon and half water. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it into a mason jar. I'm going to let the mint leaves steep in the hot liquid for just a moment. It'll just get things started and make the extraction of flavor happen that much more quickly. Then I'm going to pour the bourbon in. I'm going to put a lid on it and I'm going to put it in the refrigerator. Here it is. This is the finished product. You can see it's a little bit thick. There's a lot of mint in there. Let's give it a taste and see how it did. Well, yeah, it's a nice thick syrupy consistency. Ooh, that's extremely sweet. There's probably too much sugar in there, but that's okay. I can deal with that. It's also very, very minty. It has a very pleasant, very nice flavor. So I'm going to deal with that by adding some more bourbon. Because one of the things that I noticed as I tasted it, I couldn't taste the bourbon. It seemed to have gotten lost. So I'm going to put in another half cup of bourbon. Yeah, now you can taste the bourbon in there. Okay, so it's time to strain it out and get it into a bottle. Get all that nice good liquid out of there because there's a lot of bourbon in there, a lot of sugar. And so I'm just going to squeeze this out, but I'm going to squeeze it through the strainer. Just pour it down into there. You can see how nice and rich and thick that is. The bubbles are just slowly rising. We could dilute this down a little bit more if we wanted to and still come up with a really nice Creme De Menthe. But I think for this purpose, this might be pretty good. I'll probably be using it just the way it is. I might want to get a different bottle though. The cork on this one seems to not be very tight at the moment. Anyhow, there it is. So if you can see the bubbles in there, they swirl around. It's a nice thick syrup. It tastes good, it smells good. It should be perfectly fine for making mint juleps. And then of course I still have mint leaves. This is the other half of that bunch. And those will be going into the mint julep. All right then, I've had my dinner, I've taken a little bit of a break, and now it's time to actually make the mint julep. To start with this, I am going to take some fresh mint leaves, depending on the size, and some of these are really big. I think one sprig's worth is probably enough. That's about 10 to 12 of them. And I've got my muddle. And I'm just going to lightly kind of muddle these just a little bit to break them up and get them to release some of their oils. You don't want to do that too much. Then I'm going to take an ounce of the simple syrup, or actually it's the Creme De Menthe. The Creme De Menthe is acting as the simple syrup in this drink tonight. And then I'm going to use Old Granddad Bottled in Bond. I know I used the Williams to make the Creme De Menthe. But I'm going to use the Old Granddad Bottled in Bond, and I'm going to use 3 ounces. So this is going to be a very bourbon-forward drink. Because as you saw when we made the Creme De Menthe, I made it with bourbon, and it is about 60 proof. Now I want to fill the glass about halfway or so with ice. And then I want to take the bar spoon and I want to stir, because we want to chill this down and get some dilution going on. I don't really want the mint leaves up in here, but we've got some of that going now. Then I just want to fill the glass with ice. This is a big glass, and so it takes a lot of ice. I didn't actually have any crushed ice, but I would prefer to have crushed ice or shaved ice or pebble ice, but this is what I've got. I had to break up some ice cubes that I made in my freezer. I've got a few sprigs of mint here that will go right down on top of there. And then we will put the straw in right next to the mint leaves. And that is the mint julep. Okay, so now we want to see how this tastes. Whoa, yeah, you got it all there. Now, one of the things that I could have done here is I could have added a couple of dashes of Angostura bitters. Some people like that, some people don't. I can take it or leave it. I did not add it tonight, but I certainly could, and I might on Saturday when I'm watching the Derby. But it's very bourbon forward. There's plenty of mint, there's good sweetness. If you don't like really strong flavored bourbon in this, you can cut that back down as far as maybe 2 ounces, because there is bourbon in the Creme De Menthe. But I kind of like it this way. It's very good. You get a good strong bourbon flavor. You get some nice sweetness, and then of course there is the minty freshness of the whole thing. Yeah. Okay, if you like my videos, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends. Leave a comment in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Y'all come back now, you hear?